Uh. Alright. Feel like I should probably get started up and slacking off enough. Expand that red line. You know, I could just expand the height right here, right now.
Is that just as you don't know how you manage to be conscious, how you manage to grow and shape this body of yours, that doesn't mean to say that you're not doing it. Equally, you don't know how the universe shines the stars, constellates the constellation, and galactifies the galaxies. You don't know. But that doesn't mean to say that you aren't doing it in just the same way as you're breathing without knowing how you breathe.
Also, for your consideration, I'm going to jump in Discord. And Viper J, I see you, bud. I don't think you're listening, but we're going to do something. Absolutely. The trackside main chat. Alright, get in this. Stay safe, friendo. Man, sad to hear about Marshall Pruitt's wife still having to go through some medical things, so I think we'll definitely do something with the sub and try to raise some money for them, because none of us would be here without Marshall Pruitt, and there's for every great man there's a great wife behind him, so we'll help him out. So I was just looking at that. Alright, so this usually takes me, oh Jesus, I would say about, it used to take me about two to 3 days, and that would be about 4 to 5 hour sessions each day, and just on some rickety laptops, some terrible mice, intermittent internet, and really unfortunate happenstances of having GIMP crash when I'm halfway through, so a lot of that is trial and error and just not ever being able to get it done on the first try, but somehow as you get older you get more experience, and I don't know why, but it works in my favor now, so I'm not going to fight it as much. And we'll check. There we go. So usually, you know, I'm usually so combative that I won't get the assistance of other people because I just turn people off, but we've had enough diplomats in our ranks in the moderating crew that we've had, finally, some nice people that have been able to talk to Andy, and he's been gracious enough to give us vector sheets here with just the isolated images of the cars, which is really helpful because I would have to usually remove every aspect of the surrounding bits, which if you ever seen Andy Blackmore's guides, you'll notice that they are very, very crowded. So it's nice not to have to deal with that, although not all of them have been removed. Usually they'll remove the white space, so that's a little white space we'll have to remove, so we'll have to take care of that. Even though you'd never, ever, ever, ever see those white spaces, even if I left them in, but I know, so that makes a big deal.
Oh,
yeah.
It makes total sense, believe me.
Shut up. Who are you?
Kinky Molsan.
Oh, hey, Kinky,
Hello.
what's up? Oh man, so fucking stupid. Le Mans, baby, yeah. Thank Christ it's super season though, and
Finally.
I don't have to worry about doing these for a while. That was a nice bit about super season last year. I had to do it, and then I didn't have to worry about it for over a year. So now I get to do it again. But
Well, on the upside, you now do it once, and then you're done for another year. So,
well, with the way
upsides,
WEC is
downsides,
going, we won't. I won't have to do as many cars next year. but
well, you might be wrong on that. If DSC is accurate, maybe we'll have the same numbers, maybe even bigger.
I would hope that you know what? I mean, yes. Now, I would rather see a BMW and a Ford outfit in lieu of whatever P2 and GTE AMs we're gonna get. Granted, I know we might get Janettas, so that'd be nice, but we won't get the SMP BR. No. We won't get Dragon Speed BR1 back. Hopefully, we'll retain the two SMPs. It'll be a shuffle. It'll be a shuffle. I feel like we're gonna get. You're right. I feel like we're gonna get that full amount, but
well, it's gonna be filled by the M's, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know what was the what were the exact terms of Dragon Speed's lease of the chassis or buying the chassis.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we would get the same chassis again, but as I said, I don't know if it's lease or what.
Oh, okay, so it wouldn't be Dragon Speed, but it'd be somebody else running it, kind of thing.
Hopefully.
Yeah, kind of like what Janetta wanted it to be, but failed, and basically crewing a car for somebody. Although Dragon Speed usually brings their own outfits, they're pretty good at that. They just kind of just drive everything and then have experience driving everything.
Well, that's why they're so good at what they're doing, right? I mean,
why.
I was listening to Elton Julian in the day at Indy, right before the Indy 500, and I was simply astonished by his attitude. I mean, he knows that he's new to the environment, he's new to the car. Everybody is scrambled at the last minute, and yet they got in. Yep. Because they've got such incredible work ethic. I mean, maybe it's an exaggeration, but I think in a few years they might be maybe not sports car racing, overall racing equivalent of what we got with Porsche at Le Mans. I mean, they know what to do in every possible circumstance, and that's great.
No, well said. Why? Oh, that's weird.
And concerning the SMP, I just reminded myself that I'm not sure what was the deal after they crashed their Spa tub in 2018, but I think they leased a test car of SMP for Le Mans. I don't know what happened later, but I'm pretty sure their Le Mans car in 2018 was the test tub of SMP, the number one.
Okay. Granted, they've gone through how many? What, 2 chassis or 3? I think just was it that one at Spa, and they've managed the rest. I mean, I know that didn't they have tub damage at Sebring or what was that? They skipped. They skipped Spa because of Sebring.
They skipped Spa because of Sebring, but they skipped Sebring because of electrical damage that needed to be repaired, or was it Spa?
They skipped Spa because of electrical damage. What was it? Bikoles skipped Sebring because of engine testing and all that for the new power plant. This will be the first time we'll actually have both of those cars back on the same, in the grid. Since what? Early fall of last year?
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Silverstone? No, I don't think they were at Silverstone together.
Which is yet another reason why I think I may be alone in that. I think that super season basically sucked. I mean, not in competitive terms, but in that having 3-4 months between races, and then you forget what happened. That's basically a new season, but it's the same season, but you're in a transition period, but you don't know what's happening. It's frustrating to a point.
Oh yeah, I mean the racing sucked. I mean that also doesn't help. I mean yeah, there is that huge gap that is the thing, and it's just kind of the championship kind of goes on to an extent. If it's already wrapped up, like it works if everything is still close and there's storylines and people aren't worried about the next regs and all this stuff. But because all the other background stuff happened, and because it kind of correlated with lack of competition at the head of the field, that kind of became the storyline over all the months of non-talk. So instead of talking about the future, what new potential manufacturers are coming, we're talking about how nobody's coming and we're not even gonna have Le Mans, or all this stuff. So it's really negative. So you don't even really have the opportunity to even, I don't know, like enjoy some of the time off if you wanted to enjoy it. Like all of this is just almost like anxious anxiety for the next race to see whether or not it's any better. So either validating your concerns or vindicating your non-worry, I guess. So it's I don't know, you're right. I mean it wasn't great. I just think it was just a victim of timing, and I think if it would have been a year or two earlier in terms of who was entered, yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. Porsche versus Toyota for a year and a half, sign me up, I don't care. But not having that ability to see that, and I mean even if that's the case, Toyota seemed like they had a better car. So what? After 4 races, they've been 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, maybe with some electrical problems, something like that. But outside of that, we could say that who cares outside of maybe Sebring and now Le Mans. But then again, we're talking about Spa being a warm-up for Le Mans because they haven't raced in 2 months since Sebring. So like you're still giving that pretext of competition, excitement of who's going to figure out who wins. Now we're all just bummed because we don't care. It's not really a contest. I mean, I don't want to cheer for my team to lose, but Jesus, I'm almost here cheering for my team to lose. So, and I just feel like that's a terrible place to put your fan base at. So, I don't know.
Well, frankly, I think that Car News, the December regs, were supposed to keep the interest going, and technically, they did. Not in the way the ACO intended. That's for once. And second of all, I do think that, as you said, Toyota has clearly a better car, vastly better car, and we just need to jump over that. When especially with Alonso coming in, we had a lot of newbies, and they basically came in with that thought that this will be, as intended, a level playing field. It wasn't, because of Toyota was vastly better. Vastly better. All EOT problems aside. But frankly, even if it wasn't point, they would still win all the races, and they would still win all the races by far. Because they have the better car, because they have the hybrid, because they have a 4-wheel drive. Nothing would ever change. So I don't think we have... I mean, we do have a right to complain, but do we have the reason? I don't think so.
No, I mean, yeah, there's I mean, not a lot we can say that could have been done a whole lot differently. I mean, for me, the only... My opinion is that they could have just kept the classes separate. They didn't need to combine them for the sake of making it. If you're going to sell me on something, sell it to me the way that it's intended. Don't sell it to me because you want me to feel some way. Just, I don't want it to be a Band-Aid. If it's going to be a Band-Aid, tell me it's a Band-Aid. Like, all this stuff was not sold on Band-Aid. It was sold on, we're going to keep these things even. We're keeping them in the same class, implying that they're the same, category of car. which we didn't have to do in the previous years. We've left LMP1s and P2s alone, but they've had the same pace or overall pace. So, but we never felt like combining them then. I mean, you could just say LMP1Ls and LMP1Hs will be equalized to the same thing. You didn't need to make it a separate thing, but to legitimize this for Toyota, to sell this for Toyota, we're making this so that they're competing against other people, you know? So their trophy room says LMP1 overall team manufacturer or team champions, not LMP1H manufacturers champions, in which people will go, but there's no other manufacturer, so why could you get that? So if we're giving Toyota that extra say of, hey guys, there's an that asterisk isn't an asterisk because we race other people, then you have to give fans that watch that competition an actual race. You can't just say, okay, here's a bunch of 10 entrants that are all inferior, go race them, beat them, and we'll give you this trophy because we want you to stay for the next 3 years. I get where you're doing that, but if I understand what the diplomatic aspect to that is, but I just feel like that is so wrong to the fans because you're basically keeping them in the dark because you're trying to keep a manufacturer from leaving. And while it's in their best interest, it does them no good to be left this far in the dark with it and have so few reports from actual journalists who just want to know what's going on but can't know about it. So that's where my issue comes from, where I don't like where they decided to make this thing where it clearly wasn't and try to tell us all that it was going to be a thing that it just was never going to be, or it was like, well, there's a 5% chance we'll get there, so we're technically right, so we'll just try to get there, and if it doesn't, well, I mean, we tried. So, which I guess fair enough, but I don't know, the whole thing
could be done better, right?
Yeah,
it could be done better. Yes, I agree overall, but I do think that the basic shape of what ACO did with the LMP1 is quite right and justifiable, as you said, with the marketing terms and keeping Toyota around.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that with small tweaks, as SMP apparently proposed with bringing the Privateers trophy back, it could be done better, right? You could, let's say, transform the teams championship in LMP1 to manufacturers championship and spice it up a little bit by saying Toyota can bring 2 cars and dominate the field by winning 1-2-1-2-1-2 for 8 races. But if, say, BR Engineering sells 2 more cars, all 4 cars are eligible for points. And then in the Manufacturers Championship, BR Engineering Dallara is scoring points with those 4 entrants. Toyota is scoring with 2, Ginetta with 2, and so on and so on. And then Privateers have their own trophy, not championship but trophy for the teams. Then you keep it even. Then you keep the competition going, and Toyota is still in the eyes of the casuals is still winning because they are winning on race. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, I can buy that. I mean, it's to me now. I mean, I'm so wild card at this point anyway. For me, LMP1, I have no issues with it, honestly, whatsoever. I still don't really have a problem with it. I like where we were at. Crap, I missed one. I liked where we were at. Yeah, costs were astronomical, sure, but there were still things being done. It wasn't like LMP1. Yeah, fine. They have a general shape, and there's definitely like a trend and evolution of how these cars look, but they're still different. I mean, look at LMP2 in terms of what some of those teams are producing for just the front, just the broad shadow or aspect of the car. Is the silhouette of the car is just designed differently in terms of where they're trying to get downforce from in different spots, where they're trying to channel air. They're all different. So to me, that's the aspect of prototypes where there was still legs to be kind of run in that category. I don't think it had reached a peak where it was done, but when we decided to hybridize the whole thing and then really just not cost cap or really do anything in terms of cost control, that's when it just completely
going to go down the rails,
right, yeah. And it spiraled so far out of control that it just now people don't know where we cross that line. You know, we're 1,500 meters down where that finish line was. We're all just trying to look back and see if we can find the finish line. And that's the point I try to tell people that are huge IMSA fans that are just screaming for DPI to come to Le Mans and screaming for the DPI formula to be adopted everywhere and not to touch it, not to add hybrid to it. And I'm going, look, if I can afford a house at 100K, right, 100,000, and you're telling, you know, and I can afford it, right? You're telling me, don't buy the $1 million house. Don't buy the $1 million house. Buy the $25,000 house. Buy the $25,000. You can't afford the $1 million house. I'm going, well, what about the $100,000 house? I want that one. And they're going, no, don't buy the $1 million. I'm like, I don't care. I understand that's infeasible. I understand that that's not what you want. I understand that that will not work. That is not feasible. However, I realistically look at what OEMs spend on per year budgets for F1 and other series and what their injections and investments are. $10 million US a year for a OEM team to run a DPI category, that is pennies. That is nothing. That is absolutely nothing. They could spend the same amount marketing that year than they would technically on how much IMSA wants you to spend on the car. Like, that's a ridiculously low amount. So my point is, where is that middle ground? We don't want to spend $800,000 million a year, but we don't, and you know, that's too much. And $10 million seems a little too small for me. Where's the middle? And we're not even in that discussion right now. And it's just all about how WC is overspending, which I don't think they are. I think that may be a little bit over how much I would think OEMs are willing to spend, but not by much. 30 mil euro a year for 2 cars? Or was that 15?
That was the initial December plan was 16 million euros per season per 2 cars for privateers and 20 million euros for OEMs, assuming they develop the cars properly and they pour a little bit more money. But I think Hugh de Schonack said and had backers that it's a bit not too much, a bit too little, and that maybe 25-30 would be more workable. But then it's more money to pour in.
Right.
You know, to kickstart the program. But I do think that this highlights a much bigger and entirely different issue, which is marketing and our current position in the wider racing world. You know, I recently had in my little on the back of the woods a conversation titled "Nobody Cares About Sports Cars," because I come from Poland, so we do have that circle jerk around Kubica, right? And the natural consequence is we do have a natural circle jerk over F1. So when I approach the people, hey, you know what? Williams is shit. They're shit because F1, frankly, for the last decade or so, has been shit, and it has been shit because the teams are overspending. You can basically look for the budgets of the teams and predict who's gonna win, who's gonna come last, based on the budgets alone,
right,
and nothing else. And it's been happening for the last 10 years. Meanwhile, in sports cars, we had resurgence of prototypes. We had resurgence of privateers. We had the resurgence of GT racing. It's all fine. It's all good. It's good racing, and maybe give it a try. But then you hit a wall because what? Because sports car racing died after 1991 when Bernie killed it. So
hey man,
we are.
It ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows.
We are at this weird point where we could get manufacturers to spend a little bit more than they may be willing to spend now. Let's say that 30, maybe even 35 million euros per year, because that's still a lot less than what they are spending right now in F1 or somewhere else.
I think that's definitely feasible.
We don't have a marketing advantage, partly because we are concentrating on endurance racing, which is less marketable because it's long. partly because we are still in that reconstruction period. We have been in the reconstruction period for the last 20 years or so. We are just not in the point to fight with other types of motorsport, and that is why I had that conversation in which I stood by my point, but I was hitting the wall of shitty argument. Nobody even cares because we didn't hear about it. So, and because we didn't hear about it, it means that nobody cares, and nobody cares because nobody's hearing. If nobody's hearing, it means, you know what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, there's a feedback loop to it. I mean, I think there's a lot of things. So, first off, there's definitely an aspect of comparison between us and other forms of motorsport because we are a form of motorsport. So there's going to be draws and comparisons between it, and I definitely agree. Just the aspect of racing in general is different for endurance racing because, I mean, let's face it, IMSA has the shortest races, and those are hour and 45 races, 15 minutes longer than F1.
Sorry, I'm gonna cut in, which is exactly why I'm using the term sports car racing, not endurance racing, to emphasize the fact that IMSA does have sprint races, that there was something like sports car sprint races, sports prototype doing 480 kilometers.
I love it. As much as I love endurance races, at Sebring, Daytona, I do love the aspect of racing at a Long Beach or something like that and having those short races because, I mean, that it does harken back to the days of GTP and the days of Camel GT and all of that other stuff that really... I feel like IMSA is much more self-aware of their benefits than I feel like WC and Le Mans is, and they call back to that more often than not. Sometimes it's hand service, but other times it's for legitimate reasons that help their series, and it's helping them, I think, now by doing that.
Frankly, I don't want to go tinfoil hat, but I'm gonna go tinfoil hat. I do think that something like resurgence of proper World Sports Car Championship with, say, 10, 12 races, something like IMSA with majority of sprint races of, let's say, 500, 600 Ks, could be done. But it won't be because FIA, because there is so much money poured into Formula One that if that bubble bursts, if there is a regular competitor to Formula One, which WSC would be, FIA won't even allow to create something like that. It won't allow World Sports Prototype Championship. It won't allow World Sports Car Championship. I think they might be keeping sports cars in the shackles of endurance to keep it separated and to keep the cash flow going as it is right now, because it's feasible in the business term.
Maybe.
Wait,
hold on. Okay, so Dominic, Sonoma. Oh, if they got more attendance, yes, I could see them going back. The problem is, you cannot expand the IMSA schedule anymore. The IMSA schedule, I think, is as packed as it's going to get, and you are straining teams to try to go any farther. So we're essentially at you want to add a race, you got to remove a race, which really, really sucks because we're basically left with not going to some really iconic racetracks that IMSA should be going to. Montreal comes to mind. I know Grand Am went there, but they always had great races there, and I just don't see where IMSA can expand in schedule anymore. I think they're done in terms of their calendar. They'd have to remove and replace instead of add.
Frankly, I did have a thought connected to World Sports Prototype Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask it in Twist, but I didn't. I don't know why. I had a thought of separating GTs and prototypes again, but not completely, with, say, something like NAEC concentrated around Le Mans, around the tracks with bigger pits. I don't know how many pits are there in Spa, but I presume very many. You know what I'm saying? Get combined races for something like World Endurance Championship, concentrated around those long races, then separate sprint races for WSPC and separate races for FIA GT Championship. It could work. Right. It could grow in numbers of privateers, of OEMs. It would keep the cost down and it would keep the show going. But then on the other hand, we lose the benefit of having, let's say, massive traffic at Shanghai.
Right, exactly. So, and I mean, honestly, I don't have a problem with that either. And it's essentially putting a North American Endurance Cup version into the World Endurance Championship,
in the world,
which I'm fine with. To reduce cost and to make it too, so that I think, okay, so here's how you could bend that too. So you can make it that if you had full WC entries, they could have a third car at Le Mans. Let's just say that. If you're a NAC or whatever, World, I don't know, however you want to say that, entrant, so you're only entering, 3-4 major races a year in the World Endurance Championship, you're only allowed 2 entries at Le Mans. Or something like that, where you are incentivized, or there should be some incentive to run the full series, but not barring people from running at Le Mans, which is what currently is in place now. Is if you don't run full season or aren't racing in something that you can earn a spot there, you're not going to Le Mans. They're not going to invite you. So something like that, I think, might be more applicable for, privateers and or OEMs, because it's not like we haven't seen OEMs have expressed interest solely at Le Mans and nothing else. I think Peugeot was one of those that were in one of the many discussions that they had with trying to come back. They were thinking about doing something one-off Le Mans, and that was no bueno, but that was a while ago, so I don't know. But yeah, it would be an interesting concept. We need an ability to get OEMs back here, I feel like, in a way that isn't slapping a sticker logo on a car, which is kind of what I feel like IMSA is right now with DBI a little bit. But although the engines are great. Engines are great. I do love those engines.
The rest.
Yeah, the Acura DPI is amazing if I close my eyes. That's all.
Well, it is. I would say, frankly, I only noticed that it is entirely standard Oreca 07 with another wedge in the front, just last time out at Detroit. I did not even think about it for a year and a half, so I guess it works anyway, because the casual won't care. Especially right now when there are only two LMP2s, so they don't get much exposure. Nobody sees it, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But I do get your point. I do think that if we can get maybe a cooperation with SRO going, I don't know if they are thinking again about merging GTE and GT3. Which would not be a bad thing to do, I think. It could get OEMs back. It could get massive interest in lower classes, even more massive. And because of limited number of pits at the races, it could force some more rich OEMs to go higher, to go P1, to go car. But as you said, it would need a kickstart basically. And I don't know if we can afford it.
No, and that's just the thing. It's the difference for me in really trying to find something to grab onto for these regs, or the new regs upcoming, or just the issue with dealing with OEMs in general, is just that they don't know what they want and are essentially just balking at any opportunity to do anything major, because they don't want to be caught with their pants down when helium comes around, hydrogen comes around, automation, automotive vehicles comes around, whatever. So they want to be as flexible as they can be, and an extension, a motorsport program, essentially is an all-in for what could be a mid to short term of a concept. So you're not really entering just to enter racing outside of maybe Ferrari or somebody, where you're just racing to race and race and race, or Porsche. But a lot of OEMs are there to do something or to showcase something, case in point Nissan. So to me, that was a microcosm of exactly what the OEMs are really wanting to do now. They want to be creative, do something that they feel is what is going to be the future of whatever, of automobiles, and then showcase that at Le Mans, which is right now really tough to do, because all of that is just dealing with alternate ICEs that are not proven and are expensive, and no one's buying into them yet. So except for kind of electrical a little bit and hybrid, but, so it's just a minefield of trying to like plot your next move and not get fired for it. And I just feel like motorsports is so volatile right now that unless you have a series that allows you the opportunity to just slap a sticker on it, maybe inject an engine in which you're not really doing anything with, it's not rocking any boats, but you're not really doing any, you're just trying to win it for the company, there's your angle. But right now, Le Mans isn't catered to those kind of teams or companies. And the future will dictate whether or not there is greener pastures with those guys, or if we stick with Toyota and Aston Martin, maybe a Ferrari, maybe a BMW, maybe this guy to innovate and keep pushing this class to do other things that we really want it to do. So that's just going to be what we'll have to all wait and see with these new regs, and if that actually comes to fruition, because Lord, I don't want to watch F1 anymore, man. I really don't. I'm tired of watching that series.
And I do understand that, although I am looking forward to the 2021 regs, hoping they will bring some competition back there. But back to car. Point one, I would say, is that ACO understands that completely and wants to do something with it, which is why, if I recall correctly, their original proposal from last year at Le Mans included something like a meaning of preparation to the next rule cycle, which would be something like what we did with hybrids, right? Get the then current LMP1 cars and try to put hybrid in them, just like Peugeot did with their 908 before they pulled out. And that's point one. And point two is, I would say, that is the point where I'm saying basically that fan base should do what I think is best. Me personally, haha. I came into sports cars partly because of lack of competition of F1, but what made me stay is the technology. And frankly, I do think that if we put even more emphasis on the technology, instead of just racing, and instead of just catering a place to showcase technology, but to power the motor of technology forward, this is the angle where we can really go, because we are going towards electrification sooner or later. That's what everybody knows, but nobody ever realizes that when the full electrification finally comes, we will basically come back to the 1920s, 1930s, when we were just working on getting the internal combustion engines to be as flexible, as durable as we actually want them. So I think that we should, as a fan base, stop focusing, maybe not entirely stop, but move more of our focus to the technology and to the advancements that motorsport will bring. And then we will get the fan base. It will not be the fan base that maybe likes racing for the sake of racing, but likes racing for the sake of technology involved. It will not look good. It will not look very good. Maybe it will not be visible at the first glance for the casuals, but it will do its job.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I really can't. The only issue. Oh boy, I have to do this a little bit here. No, that was a scale. The only issue that I would foresee, I wouldn't say issue that I foresee, but I mean, it's just a political issue still. So it's and until we kind of get beyond the politicized issue of why we kind of want to move towards alternate energies and electricity fully instead of ICE internal combustion engines, we're gonna have this kind of struggle every single time to even have a conversation about it, and it's annoying to be on this side and to not have the ability to have that conversation. It's just going to continue being this annoying slugfest where I have to justify my position because, you know, I believe, you know, specific scientists, I guess, and you believe some other different scientists. So the crux of it then comes down to, because that's what we're facing with IMSA. IMSA is facing this issue with its fan base, which has a lot of NASCAR fans in it, and a lot of you know, people from that a lot of people from that political spectrum that just do not accept and want anything to do with any of that stuff. They want more big block V8s and more earthy tones to, you know, engine sounds, which I don't disagree. I like those too, but for sports cars, I don't think it needs to do that. So that'll be the thing. Once you start to see that kind of domino effect fall in the US, I feel like a lot of that will start triggering, and ACL will be much more open to wanting to do that, and maybe we'll see like an FE kind of thing where they just start throwing invites to everybody and going, here's a mold, fill it in all the gaps with whatever you want that your factory can come up with and race. So I'd show up for that.
Well, a mother chassis would be certainly an option. I think that ACO has given it a good look, and if they decided not to go with it, they certainly have a good sense of why it's better not to do it right now. But certainly, I think if they can go, if they can find a nice middle ground between an actual mechanical development of the car, like development of the materials involved, development of the safety technology, which thanks to the uniqueness of the technology in every car, we get more progress faster. If they can find middle ground, I think it would be the most beneficial. But full mother chassis, well, it's enticing, but it's way too close to Class 1, at least right now.
Yeah. Again, it's going to depend a little bit on who joins in with the car regs, because that's going to be its whole, you know, issue altogether there. So, I mean, if we do get, so we're talking about Toyota and AMR, and the AMR Red Bull. You know, yeah, and we're not even talking about Glickenhaus. We're not talking about, well, Bicols, I guess. Who is it? Was it not Delara? Did Delara say that they're going to make a hypercar? I know Oreca or something like that. They were going to do something to that effect as well.
Oreca was Hugh de Chaunac was in the room initially. I don't know what happened later, but definitely he was in the first meeting.
Yeah. So that aspect, I don't know, but I don't know.
I mean, it's very uncertain future, but if they do it right, and they are able to do it right, I think we are in for quite a ride in the next few years. But the thing is, the OEMs have to actually stay for more than one season. Fucking BMW.
I have no issue with BMW wanting to race Super Season. Realistically, if they want to spend that much money and do almost nothing with it and then bail, because then that's fine with them. They clearly know something I don't, and if they feel that they have spent the money wisely or incorrectly, and they want to pull the plug, they can. They have every reason to do that. It's just that's the whole. That was where my point was going. Was that. I mean, I've never seen this kind of volatility in terms of, the pressure to make a profit has never been higher, and yet we've seen so many nearsighted decisions from these boardrooms that that doesn't scream to me that people are incompetent. It just screams to me that people have no idea where the direction of the automotive industry is going, and they're just throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks, and which is all fine and good, but you're essentially just hamstringing a lot of racing series along because you don't know what to do. And if that's their, if you're utilizing them as your arm for advertising, know that they might not be there the next time you need it, because we're having this many flaky OEMs that just can't even make up their minds to stay in for more than a season, building a brand new car. So it sucks, but if they decide to do it, that's on them. I'm not gonna.
Frankly, and this is why. No, yes.
No, go ahead.
Frankly, this is why I'm very happy we have Aston Martin around in GTE, because I know we've just lost Ford. Possibly we've lost Ford. We don't know for 100%, for 99, but not for 100%. We've just lost BMW. Fuck them, basically. But even if we end up with 6 cars in GT Pro, I'm fairly sure if ACO is really willing to, and they get good relations with Aston Martin, maybe we'll see third cars. Maybe we'll see more some privateers in GT Pro, which would mean we keep the numbers. And when we keep the numbers, basically we've just kept the class healthy. If we kept the class healthy, we might get some different OEMs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not without that prospect of going down with the numbers, which usually is a preludium to going down of the series. Generally, we maintain the numbers, everything is fine. We're just on a little downturn. Maybe you want to come in and try. But basically, with what happened with BMW, I do think it was maybe they weren't planning right from the start to pull out after one season, but I think after Le Mans they maybe did. Maybe after Silverstone, because what I found interesting is that they launched the car at Spa. They were already in the US, and basically their main market will always be the US, because the Americans like big GTs nowadays, big classic GTs,
Yep.
more than the Europeans, right? And the Asians, for that matter. So basically, IMSA would be their logical direction much more than WEC, with their only one race in the US. So what I thought is when they pulled out, and basically the same week, maybe 2-3 days after, we get confirmation that serious production of BMW Series 8 is starting just now. I thought, you fuckers, you basically got a full season of free advertisement worldwide, and now you're keeping the car to further market it in the one market you are going to actually sell it well. I mean, that's next level marketing.
That, you know what? If
that's
that...
great and annoying at the same time.
Yeah. You know what? That is brilliant marketing. If that was conceived beforehand, man, I gotta tip my hat if that's the case.
And I mean, it was just a few days between the coming out with the decision we are pulling out of WEC and we are going into production finally after a year. Fuck.
Man, I think too it's such a bummer because the memes were so high on that, man. There was just that was the first major sports car meme to ever really grace our our social media.
Well, outside of fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Outside of an expletive, we finally got something to actually share and be obnoxious with. Which that's going to be the one thing that hurts the most. And maybe we'll see them at Le Mans next year with an invite.
We won't.
Maybe.
I'm telling you right now,
No.
we will not, because the ACO will be flaky around about the fact that they pulled out after just one season, and now they are going back to do the big race. just like Gigi said in Twisk recently, they're not going to let them in. No way.
No.
I mean, just like Gigi said, it is the case with Corvette Racing, but Corvette has done 4 out of 8 races in the current season, and they have a history of coming back and every single year with at least two factory cars, sometimes with privateer entries as well, for 20 consecutive years. There is a reason to let them in.
Right.
There is no reason to let BMW. And with basically BMW being a German version of Peugeot in the motorsport world, I mean, we do a program, we don't like something, or we don't do as well as we think we would, and we think we would win everything, so we pull out immediately, just like they did with F1. I don't see any incentive to sacrifice those 2 places.
Yeah, it's. I mean, BMW has just never really done much. They've won Le Mans kind of when people didn't think they were supposed to, and beyond that, they've done a whole lot of heap load of nothing, really. I mean, they've won a couple GT2 championships with Rahal Letterman back in the day at the LMS, but again, they've seen real little success outside of maybe a couple F1 wins that were, if you look at how much they injected into that team, into the Sauber team over those years, how much euros they spent to come away with a 3rd and a 4th place in the Constructors Championship, as well as maybe 2 wins, or what is it? No, more than that, but still.
I mean, they didn't pour money only into Sauber.
No, it was Williams too.
They poured money into Williams, then switched to Sauber. Then in 2008, I think they had legitimate shot at either enabling their drivers to fight for more than 1 win, and basically stop developing the car to bring a shitbox the next year. I mean, it's not like they don't have the resources. It's not like they don't have the knowledge to do well. I think it's more like they don't really want to. I mean, not like they don't want to, but more like their management might be flaky around keeping programs alive for more than 2-3 years. I mean, go in, milk what you can, get out. Yeah. Nothing else. High salt.
Yeah, but I mean that's really what it's come down to. That's what it's boiled down to, and why, I mean, it's not that I don't trust OEMs, but you have to basically kind of not get close to them. You have to keep yourself kind of separate. If their names aren't Porsche or Ferrari, I guess, maybe, that it's just fickle, that they're not gonna be around forever, and especially with some of these factory programs, they're not sticking around forever in terms of even 5-year stints. They're only sticking around for 2 to 3 years now and then leaving. So that's why it's gonna be such a shame when the Corvette team folds or moves on to something else, because they're not.
Don't jinx, please don't jinx.
Well, they're gonna have to. It's not like they're not going to live forever, and I mean that was why I'm not upset with Williams crashing, because they're going to do that. They're going to ultimately die. So this isn't like football where you've got teams that will exist because the team exists, and that the players will come and go, the coaches will come and go, but there is a hallowed ground and a hallowed team that is always going to form with, and you will cheer that team on. For us, we have to cheer on OEMs that will basically look twice and then leave, and we then have to throw our support to something else. We're here to enjoy the race, but we almost can't be fans of a team for very long until they go and do something else. So it makes it a fickle sport to be a fan of sometimes, because you just have no ability to control any aspect of your fandom. So that's
I do think it's at least a part down to the teams themselves. I mean, that is the next question I floated around Twisk. I even sent it, I think 2 times, never got an answer. But my thought was, why just not keep the name when you buy the team? I mean, I I know Core Autosport has their reasons to not keep ESN like as the name going after they bought the Nissans.
Oh, come on.
But other teams, when you buy a team, you give it a new name instead of keeping keeping it going. And sometimes we lose big names. I mean, big names.
Yep. So, I mean, right. That's what I floated around too. In some areas where I pitch this, where it's almost like, it's almost like a legacy thing, or it's a charter where maybe not the name, or that there's a name. So like whether you could say, what, I don't know, Destiny, Tiger, Ball, I don't know, something basic. That is the name of the team, and then you can add stuff on top of it, either sponsorships or your name or whatever. But there's like a charter aspect to that team, and you get that ability to carry that team over to something else, or to continue carrying that team. You don't have to worry about whether or not that team folds. Essentially, yes, but the thing is this would require a whole rework of how teams are funded. Meaning, not only would you be able to keep that right to that team, per se, but the building, right? Or wherever you're sponsoring that team has got to go somewhere. So you have to fund that team in terms of making that team sit somewhere. So if racing was lucrative enough, I would have it so that the teams almost, they could own the building, or they could lease the building from a specific thing. But most of that is comped by a lot of the organizers or advertising body, because that would then ensure, look, you get the team, and you also get a place. So we could do relegations if you wanted to too. If we really wanted to go crazy, we could do relegations in which your livelihood is not on the line if you don't have a good season, or if somebody doesn't provide you good enough part. You're still going to exist beyond next year, whether or not you are terrible or fantastic. And I feel like that would not only help motivate people to continue trying to do better and not try to look for a new job because they know that their job's about to literally fold and die. And two, it would ensure a lot easier ways to access fans and to keep fans interested in your team or specific OEM, whatever, because you've been in there forever and you don't have to spend a ton of money. Right, the name is still around for 30 years. People know it and have bought flags, shirts, whatever, and it's easy to maintain. That's what I'm talking about. Because right now, you can't, there's no loyalty, because in 5 years, all these teams might be gone. So my shirt's going to be meaningless in 5 years if I'm a Toyota fan. In terms of relevance. Yeah, you're right. Right, yeah. Bad example, but... Yep. Yeah. And all that crazy stuff set up. Yeah, it does. Oh, it is. It totally is. It's a whole lot American. But I mean, actually, no. It's more socialist if you think about it, because I'm Oh, okay. Franchise. Right. Exactly. I agree. Again, I have no qualms about disagreeing or agreeing with you at all with that one, because it's kind of what IMSS is doing, and I think that's probably the happy medium, or the Audi Yoast is probably the best medium that we could get, because I don't think we can ever instill something where you're going to have teams that stick around forever. They're just not. That's just not feasible. But you can still have you can have privateer programs, which by and large, because they are so driven to be in motorsports, they're going to be around for as long as they humanly can, and the bosses of those teams are not going to vote to not race anymore. They're going to vote to race every time if they got the budget. So we need to take that passion of the privateer actual team principals, all the crew members, and we need to take that and infuse it with the corporate injection and advertising, whatever, to get more eyeballs with OEMs. And that's what we needed to do. And I feel like, and you've heard me say this a billion times, it's just until we get to that point where the regs state that, we're never going to get to a point where things are okay in the long term. We will never get to a long-term solution until privateers are included in the discussion with OEMs and infusing them with them, and not separating them and leaving them to go race each other separately. So, but I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a freaking armchair expert, so. Yeah, I've been on this armchair for a while, though, so I feel like that makes it more dangerous, because I feel like I know what I'm talking about. Hello. What is it? Right. But LaTeX. I know, I've never heard that. LaTeX. Ah, okay, okay. Mm-hmm. What? That's ridiculous. Just like comes up with that shit. That's awesome. I'm up. Are we? Oh yeah, that's gotta be annoying. Non-cooperative software, the bane of my fucking existence. Right, cancel. What is this at? All right. Now, why the hell are you at? Yep. Yep. No. And it's tough, because we're all we're trying to do is just predict what we think the future is going to hold for the sport, and it's I mean, yeah, it's and that's the shitty part, is that we should be paying attention to the actual racing, but so much of the racing is dictated by the future regulations and who is coming and going that it's hard to ignore at all. You have to talk about it. You have to think about it and discuss it, and that's the infuriating part about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. 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 No, you bastard. Yeah, and that's what's been so tough about having to wait for the last now 7 months to kind of hear, because I think we've beaten literally to dust the dead horse that is the problem of overspending and what OEMs want, what they want to do. Do they want to come to Le Mans? How do we want to entice them? Like, we've talked about it enough. The whole point of these regs was to go, enough talk. We know what to do to fix this. Here's our solution to fix it. And so far, I mean, I haven't had a problem with their solution. It's just that they've been so wavering on it. Right, and they basically, they're doing what you've said, which is, and what I've said too, is that you need to make up your mind. If you want people to race your series the way you want it raced, then put your foot down and demand people show up for your regulations that you've set for them. If you're so confident that this is the right way to do it, then you should have no issue whatsoever saying to these OEMs, this is for your own good, this will benefit you, show up or don't come to the party, you're going to miss out. And it's that confidence that they're going to come and show up that is missing right now in anybody with any sort of backbone in the FIA. And I even mentioned this in the Legends post I said, is that while all these guys sucked and they might have destroyed Group C, they were the ones that kept it alive when we were having all of these titanic battles between Japanese manufacturers, European manufacturers, even Ford for a little bit they were in it. But we're talking about lots of different international manufacturers racing, like 4 or 5 works cars, just titanic battles like Group C, all while this crazy whirlstorm of political clout going on in the background, and they're still making this work. So while there's so many negatives that are associated with those three guys that made all that stupid stuff, they were also the ones that went, hey, show up here, come to this race because you're going to want to do this. And they could somehow bend the will of OEMs, something that the FIA and ACL right now are unable to do at all. Boom. Woo! Yeah, I even stopped doing the... Or be proactive. Just be proactive. Give OEMs something to do. And if you're not going to restrict costs to make it more appealing to them to do something else, do something that might appeal to 3 to 4 OEMs that you're trying to hook. And if you don't know what that is, then you need to stop appealing to OEMs because there isn't enough viability there to entice enough people to satisfy what you're proposing to fans and what you are expecting to get for these regulations. If you're going in these regulations and you can nail 3 to 4 manufacturers, then you need to nail 3 to 4 manufacturers. If you can't, you got to do something else and have a plan B. There shouldn't be this, okay, well, we just need 2 and then we're good. That never is good enough. And the only reason why we didn't have a crisis in 2012 was because Toyota was forced to step in at the last second. So well, I mean, it's not like they had a gun to their head. They wanted to enter in 2013. Yeah, they wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. Right. I just can't see him going that slow. I don't understand, but I'm having fucking issues with the GIMP. This is the first time I've ever had issues with scaling not working correctly. Literally cannot get these cars to scale. Fades the car. God damn it. Dude, I fucking wanna kill somebody! How? How? This is so dumb. I'm scaling this to 20, and then the frickin' GIMP is just going, nope, you didn't want 20, you want 21. And then if I try to scale that again, if I try to even crop it, it blurs everything, because it's going, oh, well, I'm just going to scale it by 1 extra pixel, so that means you're not going to get any of your textures. So I'm like, okay. Oh my god. I've never had this problem. I've never had GIMP do this, where it is not giving me the correct scale. It's completely effing the scale up, and I have to basically do this and then double check its work. I did like the entire P1 P2 grid and didn't realize that it's in 21 pixels instead of 20 pixels. I need 20, and it's not like I have it set for 19 pixels. I'm going under 20, and then it fucking puts it at 21. It puts 2 fucking spaces in between the car for no reason. It doesn't exist in the like large ass print that I've got. When I frickin' scale it, there should be no gaps at all, and there's just 2 gaps. Computers, man. GIMP. Well, he's got vectors. Oh, that's it. You know what? I think that's it, because this is a JPEG. That's it. God damn it. You're right. Holy shit, I didn't think you were going to be right. You're completely right. It's a JPEG image in 5,000. Granted, it's a good pixel size, but I'm usually, every year, I'm importing it from a PDF. He's usually got them in PDF, so I'll import that PDF and blow it up by like 300%. Because they're all vector-based, so it's just basically just scaling it accurately, except for some of the other stuff that I wasn't using. But all of his cars are vectored accurately for scaling. So everything on there, I would just convert to PDF, and so it would go, oh, you want 20 pixels? Yeah, you're sure. Like, this one's going, I mean, you want it, but dude, this is a JPEG, man. I can't help you. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Now at least I don't have to go completely crazy, but that was... No, I don't have to do it all over again. I just have to redo scaling them, which is just a bitch. That one was annoying, though, because it would not sit at 20. It wanted 19 or 21, but it did not want 20, which was hilarious to me. I've never... Give me what I want, damn it. I'm scaling them to 19, and they're blowing up to 20, so I'll just keep that. I think these will be smaller than last year. but not like anybody's gonna fucking tell. Oh, yeah, yeah. Le Mans Wreckfest edition. Love that game, dude. Oh, yeah, I would do it. Let's do that, man. Like, you gotta stop at a petrol station, like, at that, Pagania 1,000-kilometer race or whatever. You have to go, literally stop at a gas station to fill up. It's so ridiculous, but it's so watchable. Here we go. Another one that doesn't want to scale correctly. God damn it. Squatted at 19, and it's going to go... Oh, got it. I did not think that was going to work. No, I thought I was going to have to do the other thing where I was going to have to, like, not crop the image, but, like, grab a region of the image that's 20 pixels when it's 21 and then have to do it that way, which is just a fucking pain in the ass, so I was hoping I didn't have to do that. And I did not. Also, get OEMs out of P2 hashtag. Fuck the RS, whatever that is. Yo. Wait, is that an Alpine? Nope. No, it's no. Wait, it's an Oreca. Wait, no, it's an Acura. Wait. Find players that people are like, yes, let's have P2 cars. Le Mans Prototype 2 cars derived by the ACO as the base chassis for our American version DPI model that relies solely on being as cheap as humanly possible, in which the only thing we're going to do is authorize them to literally slap 2 planks of carbon fiber on the front of an Oreca. That's it. Oh, and then put lights on it so that you can illuminate the shark fin so you can put your company name on it. Yeah. Nice. But, hey, like I said, that Acura engine, man, that engine sounds amazing. Yeah. Oh, is it in general? Yeah, we should do something. I think we'll set something up for that. Yeah. No, yeah, big ups. Big ups for finding that too. Remember, what's this? I think Jay Viper found that. Ugh. There it is. I like money. 1,000 money. Got it. Yeah, I feel like for football, that's tough. That is tough. That's a minefield of shitty journalism. Oh yeah. Oh man, I've got a couple of Manchester United kits in my closet, but it's been a while since I've ever worn those. I love it. I love the amount of hate that club gets, like internationally. Whenever that club gets brought up, so many people just hate it. It's like it's refreshing because I'm from like a small town in America, so a lot of the sports teams, American sports teams, like Yankees, Lakers, all that shit, they just dominate everything. And so my small town that's got a bunch of sports teams that never win shit is never talked about. So anybody that's like, oh, I'm a Yankees fan, oh, I'm a Cowboys fan, oh, I'm like a Lakers fan, it's like, fuck you, man, fuck you. That's like the easy route. You just get to win every like 5-10 years and just have to worry about it. Like, try to be a fan of like some team that literally will never fucking win in my life. Like, that's just, oh, you bastard. You didn't need it. You didn't need to say it, but you did anyway. That is. There's a lot of support. That was the no comment there. Oh shit. Oh. Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's the O there on that one. Yeah. Dude, there's a guy literally down the street from me that has that. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a plastic sign. It's like a really cheap, that like perforated plastic that you can go buy and put like a sign on. It's a 10 by 5 foot plastic. So I would say what, like 1 by 3 meter plastic sign, and it's laminated with 2019 Liverpool European or Champions League champions, whatever. Doing like all this banner shit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? And he's hanging this out like this is a car air conditioner, like for car repair and air conditioner like tune-ups and stuff like that. He's standing out there like he's holding a sign advertising his business. No, this dude is advertising the fact that Liverpool won the fucking Champions League. Like, I don't get it, man. That's crazy to me. I love it. That's insane amounts of fandom. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Mute. Mute. Alright. God. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but the Gazoo chant isn't as good as like some of the other football chants. I can't just go Gazoo, Gazoo, Gazoo. Like, maybe I could do that. I could. Yeah, I could. Gazoo, 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 Gazoo. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, it sounds weird after you say it enough times. Let's just start doing that for Toyota. Boemi would be just the we'd have to come up with like some angry man chant because he's always angry. Or he just always looks angry. He's got like resting bitch face. He hit me! He hit me! You idiot. My, or was it Prost Kid? Nico Prost. Oh, right. I don't know. I don't think so. Is he? Yeah, Boehme for sure is. But is Nico? I don't think Nico's in there anymore. Ale. Ale. Roland. It's a never-ending cycle. Little pretentious fox. Hey, I'll hate Man City all day, baby. Let's go. You're welcome. Alright, I'm indifferent to them. They neither upset me nor do they make me feel joy. I mean, you could say that about like every sport. There's too much money and too much, like turnover. Way too much results-based oriented business model where winning first is everything, and the aspect of having, you know, team and community camaraderie, all that is kind of more or less put on the back foot because winning drives money, money drives revenue, and drives more fans. Fuck, I hate. All right, so I'm yeah, well, probably in the Sky Active Hour or whatever we're calling that this year. At this point, because of the because Toyota's gonna win everything, yeah. Or like maybe we should just do like I blow the subreddit up if Toyota doesn't win. Like, we just shut the sub down for like a month. Because it would just be so shocking. We would just be like, Toyota didn't win Le Mans. Come back in a month. Might? In it. No. Great mate BMW rate. Speaking of BMWs, I'm on BMW right now. Why don't they have an art car since they're not coming back here anymore? Nice. That went above and beyond what I wanted. Thank you. Oh, fuck. Disappeared into the abyss. Did I read yours? Which one was your? What year was yours? 79. I have not read yours yet. I just finished Hiwi's yesterday and Floods the day before that. So I wanted to wait before I read everybody's so I could start reading them around the same time. So. Yeah. No, I mean, do it the yeah. I mean, like I would do that way too. I just like to just read everything kind of at the same time. So if it's easier. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hello. Don't say anything to annoy him. Oh man, you're just going on your victory tour, aren't you, at this point? Oh god. Just gonna keep winning. You know, there's some funny orange guy in my area of the woods that says that shit too, you jackass. Alright. 1492. You should like throw in an extra like 150 just to. Oh wait, how many did you have, Soul? Yeah, words. How many words did you have? 2,800. On the nose? Jesus. That's being efficient. Yeah, no more, no less. You like said it after the first paragraph. You're like, I'm only going up to 2,800 and no more. Like, all right, bud. Soft gold. Mine's definitely under 2,000. I'm pretty sure. I didn't check the total. All right, so had a He watches the full race live and then makes massive amounts of commentary notes on it. I've done that. True. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Hey, no, no, this is exactly what we wanted. I didn't stick to years. I have a 2011 one that I might be able to finish, but probably not. I've got another one that I was done with before I was done with this one. But this one I feel like is more relevant and on topic to what we were originally doing, which is talking about the years in which it was really interesting, which yours is. So mine is literally just about an era ending, and then the other one is just notable accidents that happened on Le Mans that are of a specific nature and quality. So, and then I go into detail on all of those and go through just the crashes. So that has absolutely nothing to do with years, but that's what I want. I just wanted original content. If you feel like telling a story about a year, and somebody else feels like telling basically a documentary and just being very, very like anal about it, then that is what I want, because I want different people's personalities to come forth in their original content. So oh, I can completely imagine that, dude. 1979 Porsche 935s all day. Oh yeah, that would be fun. I could write about some good Indy 500s. No, 96. That was, yeah, 96. Was that maybe USAC splitting? The race was sanctioned by USAC, was part of the national championship. However, many of the participants entered the race only as a one-off. Instead, broke off and took part of the inaugural 1979 SCCA Kart IndyCar Series. That's when it started. You're right. Man. That deserves a yeah, that was good. I did not think of that at all. Mm, so they just citation. This is a TV show? All right, Tom. Oh, maybe I have heard of Tom Scott. The Norwegian butter crisis. Some of these sound amazing. and so they're just okay. So they're just using the title of a Wikipedia page and then trying to fill in what happened, and then at the end they're just judged on whether or not how close they are to the actual Wikipedia entry. Because that's brilliant. Oh, okay. I was gonna. Okay. 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 That's great. Oh, that's good. No regrets. Man, I'm gonna add this. I listened to a podcast. It's not exactly similar, but It's where one guy essentially writes up a little essay that's about an hour or so long, and then he brings a buddy along, and then essentially just reads to him this essay of something that happened in like American history, but it's so fucked up, like it's so bad or it's so not, like it's so crazy. They're both comedians, and this guy who's a really good improv guy will just basically listen to it. He's never heard it before, so he'll listen to the story and just comment on it, and the chemistry between them and just this guy that's listening to like history, but like fucked up history, is so hilarious. Like I just fucking am dying laughing at some of these episodes. So this kind of seems a little bit around the same premise. So I will definitely eat it up. I'll definitely eat it up. I gotta finish this. I gotta at least finish this Flair sheet. I don't know if I'm gonna get all the text done tonight, but I want to get at least the Flair sheet done. Boing. Okay. 919 and then the what? R18. I would put, if anything, I would probably put the number 1 R18 from 2011 in there, unless you wanted the hybrid. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. That probably should go in. That should go in. Maybe put the first and then last one in there. I don't know. I think I might do that. Yep. Ooh. What is going on? I've got that as a one-off flare for what's his face? What is his face? Flood. Flood's got that as a flare. Yup. Alright, shit. Where is this going? But yeah, I'm down to put some 919s and R18s in there. Should put Flood's face in there. Do I? Actually, I thought I have a cutout of Flood's head. I might actually. Well, I would abuse it. I mean, I mean, if anybody's gonna abuse it, it would be me first, and then I would, it would get shut down before anybody else would get it. You trust me, you don't know the amount of stuff that I do behind the scenes that just fuck with people, and then it like it either gets removed or someone's like, all right, don't be a dick. Oh. Ah, shit. 175, 174. God damn it. So yep. Wait, what happened? Oh shit. What is Broadband doing this time? Is that where it? Dang, hell yeah, if he did. Okay, Flair sheet is now lined up. Booyakasha. Now I just have to. Yeah, wow. I've got 2013 R18s. You do. Wait, what kind of? Wait, is it the new chassis or the old? Oh, the 2018 chassis. Okay. Okay, so your vote is the 2015 overall winner, the white 19 Porsche 919, or this? Yeah. No, this is for legend. This is for legendary Flair. He wanted to get a 919 and R18 in the legends category, which I agree with. I think it's needed after they're both now gone. Well, that's the thing. He was saying maybe we put two of them on there, and I was looking at, well, because we've got Le Mans 2015 top, like the top three of each category. So we already have the white and red one that are up there along the 2015 one. So that shouldn't be that difficult for me to just slide that down into the legends area. I wish the red one won, man. No, they finished P2. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, which sucks. I wish the black or red one would have won, but hey, you know, I guess you're gonna an F1 racer to win it. Might as well, but 2017 top three. Okay. Alright. Well, I think this year we're finally going to have to get rid of a previous year. So 2015, I think we're going to have to nix. I mean, in terms of being able to select it from the top three that year. They'll still be... Damn, I forgot KCMG won in 2015. Then it was JCDC. Then it was... Yeah, then G-Drive, Rusinov won it after that. And then it was... The Toyota livery? Oh. Yoda. No, I don't. I don't think. Here we go. God, this is the worst aspect to having to do Flair is the making the table sheet that you guys see, because essentially there's no table. So it's what you guys see in terms. Right, but it's not only that, the way that they do it is so arbitrary because it's a fill form page in order to essentially set up the Flair. So I can't just input all the CSS from the original spreadsheet that I have for the site for rWEC. I have to take that using the reference CSS codes, put them in a column, basically like almost like you're filling out your name and address. Then you hit tab to put in the description, and then you have to hit tab again to either hit save, or you hit tab again, which then starts another column. So I can't just copy paste everything immediately. I have to individually type out, tab, then type, tab and hit save, tab again, do it. And then the delete button's next to it. So if I delete it, it immediately deletes that row and then shifts everything back up. So I can't just push stuff down. I have to essentially create the space below it, copy everything onto it, below it, and then fill in the rest that I need, and then delete the rest of the spreadsheet above that. It's so arbitrary and like maddening that it takes so much time. If you're looking on the stream, this is what I have to do. Yes. YouTube. No, it's YouTube. Twitch was being way too much of a jackass with me, so I just decided to go YouTube. It's not that. It's rWEC and rUSCR. It's the actual subreddit. It's there. We have a YouTube subreddit channel, or a subreddit YouTube channel, and that's where I've got it right now. Yes, I've been uploading videos to that for like the last 2 years or so. The last 4 or 5 months has been exclusive races that I haven't been able to find online. I've been finally uploading them and publishing them on the site. So yes, that's the whole point. I want people to that was the whole point. People are watching me set the Flair up, so and then you guys are also in here so people can hear you guys talking. So, but nobody's watching this. It's like 3 people. This is where we're going to have it for the pre-race show for Le Mans as well. So this will be where that is. And I need to start throwing links up onto the rWEC, but I just haven't yet. Yeah, we usually do one for Le Mans. This year is going to be an hour long. I think we did 30-minute ones before the official 30-minute pre-race show comes live, 30 minutes before the installation lap begins. But this year I think we're going to do an hour before the pre-race. You cannot hear yourself talking? Weird. Oh well. Wait, say something. No, yeah, you're right. I don't have any audio playing off that. That's weird. Let me figure out why. Oh, I know why. It's when I plugged in my headphones. There it is. Now you can hear music. Now you can hear stuff. It was probably completely silent, right?
Hang on.
It definitely wasn't broadcasting any sound because I switched my audio.
There's
primary
a
audio.
gigantic thunderstorm outside. They were like I was like watching why there was wind in my room, and then I looked outside and there was like 1, 2 thunders like every 2 seconds or so.
Oh Jesus!
At least they are still relatively far away.
I'm a weird one,
see
dude.
them all.
I love that shit. I'm a huge fan of of storms, so
Lightning.
So,
I'll go out for lightning all the time.
I don't like thunderstorms.
You're not a fan?
Nah.
I love them.
I
we
mean,
gonna do?
this looks cool and it's still like relatively far away, but when it comes closer, then nah, it's not my cup of tea.
Cookie.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a sort of live pre-race show and stream it on YouTube?
Yeah, that's what we do every year.
Or do we?
Yes.
Like the endurance chat crew?
Yeah, pretty much. Realistically, now it's just kind of turning into moderators to mostly moderators. But we have anybody that really wants to be on there. We usually do that. Now, for us, what we did last year was we had endurance chat. I think that's where we had everybody join, and then we moved everybody then after that to the main race channel. So I think we might try to do that this year again. So, I mean, if you've been in one of the episodes, you probably don't have a muted mic or anything and are going to be able to speak anyway. But I think that's where we're going to be. We'll join there. But at any rate, tune in to that website. And I've got it set up. I think I have it scheduled to go off about an hour before pre-race starts next week. So if you subscribe, you should get notified of that, I think. So.
And smash that bell icon.
Yeah, that's the first time I think I've ever actually promoted anything on that. So I feel real dirty, so yeah.
Subscribe and smash that bell icon.
Ooh, I didn't put the BMW logo on here. That's interesting. So I'm missing the BMW logo. I'm also missing another one too, I guess. Ferrari, Alpine, Aston Martin, Audi, BMW, Chevy, Ford, Gibson, Onroque, Porsche, Rebellion, Oreca. Was it Delar? No, Delar. That was it. I think
Ligier. Ligier as well.
Ligier, yeah.
Ligier Automotive right now.
Delar.
Oh, all right.
Ford, Gibson, Ligier, Onroque.
I feel good to be honest.
You're live, man. You're live. No tornadoes. No tornadoes.
I was just muted.
Oh, it's the other guy. Whoops. No Twister. Toyota. Okay.
Yes, I had my hopes up for a bit.
There's quite a bit of delay on that stream, I have to say.
Oh,
yeah. I have around 40 seconds maybe, which
40.
is my usual delay. Just riding Rebellion, Oreca.
Wow, yeah, that is really far behind.
But to be honest, I have a shitty Wi-Fi connection, and I'm doing the chat and the stream simultaneously. So.
Yeah, but I want it to be more synced than that.
It's about half a minute out.
I wonder if it was like that from the beginning, or if it's been dropping a little bit of frame here and there, and then that's what's been making up the difference. Ooh.
Yeah, it's half a minute out.
Well, frankly, even if it was dropping frames, you wouldn't even notice probably.
No, yeah,
it's
no,
much harder to notice with text.
Yeah, you're right. Mint. That, and then 2.
I went on the Ligier Automotive website, and they have a press kit for Le Mans 24 Hours 2018. Oh well.
Yeah, well, you tried.
It's something.
Oh god. I think my dog is scared.
Well, the dogs are usually scared of thunderstorms, I think.
Loud noises.
Oh.
Duquesne. That's not how you spell it, cocaine.
Duquesne Engineering.
Duquesne.
That name is so tough to get right.
It's
on the
so
first-
French. It's so French.
Yeah, but it sounds very nice.
Duquesne.
Du
To be
Camp.
honest,
Duquesne.
Duquesne.
I like a Duquesne with my meal, please. Dragon speed.
Duquesne croissant. Mais oui.
I maintain that there should be more auto entries and less, take a pick.
There's wait. There should be more auto entries
Yes.
in
Frankly-
less invite system essentially.
Yes.
I would agree if it was all auto entries. If we're gonna have mixed auto entries and run watch brung, if ACO invites you on themselves, I say less. I know that the latter needs to be accommodated, but if we're gonna expand to
The latter is what we have now.
more cars, I mean, if we're gonna expand the number of garages in the new pit complex, I say either keep it as it is and bring more invites straight from ACO, or go for full auto invite for top 3 in the LMS in every class and Asian LMS.
And are we talking if Le Mans least WC or
Le Mans.
No, we're talking about auto invites for Le Mans.
Yep.
So basically your opinion would be WSC full-time entries plus auto invites all the way.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
In the current pit structure, yes. Or if we're gonna mix auto entries and entries based on ACO's whim, then less auto
AKA
entries
third,
and more
fourth
of a whim.
manufacturer cars.
Sorry?
AKA third, fourth cars
the-
in GTE.
Something like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what I was going for was essentially, we're taking this many cars from IMSA GTLM, we're taking this many cars from ELMS P2, we're taking this, yada yada yada, Pick a class, per class per class and per competition. You'd essentially have, the top N spot will take it to Le Mans, and what it does, it would create a transparent route to get to Le Mans. It's not, take a pick. It's, this is how you get to Le Mans. I am tired and I have work to do, and I don't want to do the work.
Oh
Alright.
man.
I have to go. Sorry.
Do it. Get out of here,
Alright.
man.
Goodbye.
So yeah.
All right. On the GTs.
Jesus, the Baker's car looks damn awesome.
Yeah. Wait, which one?
Baker's 34.
Yep. I remember, I remember when Inter-Europol competition was in, they were in, like, what was it, like a spec Renault
VDV.
series?
Yeah, I think they still have their Formula Renault car. I'm gonna check it.
I mean, because I remember Barcelona, but it was like a TCE. It was almost like a saloon car. But it was, whether it was Renault or it was something, and they had that livery, and I was like, that is the craziest livery. It was like green, yellow, pink, and I would always see that livery everywhere. And I was like, I know that team, but I remember it because they had a terrible, terrible race there. Like both the cars just kept going off all the time, and I kept seeing it. I was like, oh boy, that team. Yeah, let's see, 51, 63. Yep, 51, 63, 64, 66,
You mean
7,
their
8, 9.
Formula Renault 2.0, right?
Were they in with 2.0?
They have it listed on their website,
Okay,
so I think yes.
got it. then yes, that's what I was talking about. 8192 Rizzy. There it is. Where's Rizzy? Rizzy, get over
Oh,
here.
Rizzy, another awesome one. But I think I like JMW much more.
Oh yeah, I mean they're both iconic. I really like the blue Ferrari. Although personally I would have liked a more deeper blue. I think that would have gone better with, I don't know, Ferrari itself, but I ain't gonna complain. I think it looks
Yeah,
awesome.
but if I recall correctly, they wanted to emphasize the Frenchness of the blue, so they went for the classic blau competition,
Okay.
or whatever the name is. Yeah, no, something like blau competition. I'm gonna check it.
Aston. Dude, I have some seriously bad misspellings here in some of these flares from last year. I spelled Aston Martin wrong. How do you do that?
Oh. Happens. Bleu de France. Just like that.
Bleu de fond.
Bleu de France.
Les tricouleurs. Flag of France to be waved. By, wait, who's waving the flag this year? Isn't it
I'm sorry?
who's waving the flag this year? I thought it was somebody popular.
I don't remember, to be honest. I thought it was going to be either Matt Damon or Christian Bale, seeing they star in the movie, but they're not gonna even be there. So
Yeah,
I
which
don't
is
know.
weird. they waved the green flag at Indy 500, but not at the race that their movie is gonna take place in. So, whatever that means.
In space.
Castle Racing. Sup, people?
Princess Charlene of Monaco to be starter of 2019 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Oh wow, okay. Wait, was she the one that raced in the Dakar, or was that another Prince and Princess of Monaco?
I don't know.
From Le Mans Org, a former Olympic swimmer, the princess is actively involved in the Monaco Grand Prix, taking an avid interest not only in sporting performance, but equally in the personal and technological challenges, core values shared with the ACO.
Fun. It's a great statement. Really, really good statement.
Great press statement.
Yeah. I'm impressed. Don't hit delete. Don't hit delete. Yeah.
This is after 10 p.m. Fuck. And my Le Mans preview is at the Mulsanne Strait. Nice.
Nice. The Honduras Strait.
Yes, the legendary Honduras.
Do you want pictures of them removing the humps?
Depends on what you mean, but I'm gonna say yes, reluctantly.
Mulsanne Corner. You know that big old hump that was before Mulsanne Corner? They nixed that in 2001 or 2, I think. So
I think in 2000, after the Mercedes flips.
No, but I don't think it was until 2001 when they actually did it. They did that one, and then they also did where Peter Dunbrack flipped heading down Indianapolis. They shaved that rise down, but then there was that big hump before Mulsanne Corner. That used to be a real big drop, and then they they killed that one. 61. I'm just gonna finish this real quick, and then I'll get you that article because that might help you out too. That's a good article. Weather to tech.
I just got weathered attack on the stream.
What'd you what? Proton competition, not racing. Pish. Number 87. Oh, God. 3. Six, 88, 90. Boom. Okey-doke. La 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 la.
Well,
Whoops, I put the Janettas in there. That's not right.
oh,
Boy, that would have been a tease. Exclusive on rWEC.
that would be just great.
Yeah. Janettas are back in per rWEC's Flair sheet.
I mean, if you put the Genettas in the Flair sheet,
They
the
will come.
ACO has to let them race. I
Right.
mean, it's a given.
It's like that American baseball movie, Angel, or what is it? The cornfield one. Like come out. It's like if you build it, they will come. Yeah, if I type it in there, they're gonna show up. I'll put Ferrari LMP1H in here too. That should show up now.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Show us. Show us. Huh. What's going on? Anosparts and Panispartus. Okay, so I mislabeled that again. Holy God. Better. Algarve. Oh yeah.
Question.
Answer.
Not what kind of berry is best, but
Are you doing a quiz?
I just know that. Nah. I wish. I saw that you put Chettilar VC Dallara. What's VC?
Which one?
Voice chat.
In the P2, number 47, I think. Chettilar Racing.
Chettilar VC. I feel like that was part of the Flair sheet for last year, and I just threw it in there because that was the title of it, but you're right, I have no idea why it's in there.
Okay.
Racing. There it is. That looks better. 217.
Ah, VC was for Viorba Corsa.
Yep.
Okay.
Duquesne DE. It's 30.
DUQ.
Oh no, I'm coming up with abbreviations. I think this is better. It's sufficient if I just come up with the actual acronyms when I'm typing out the actual description of the Flair, because it can get a little hairy. Which I should know this one.
And to be honest, I just checked, number 47 this year is entered as Chettilar Racing Viorba Corsa. So neither this nor that.
I see. What were they? 30? No.
47.
Alpine.
Alpine. Barbaros.
So I've got another project, probably for off season, and that is, I think we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be doing more Dakar when that goes. So Dakar when it goes back to, well, not back to, but it's gonna go to Middle East next year. So we're gonna do. I'm gonna probably host something on that, probably an endurance chat, but I might also do something with the sub, not with WC, but over at Dakar or Dakar. Keep all this.
Why Saudi Arabia is better than everybody thinks?
It's not.
Sarcasm.
It's shitty. I really wish that they just went back. I don't think there's any issue anymore. All that problems with terrorism is, I mean, there's always going to be a problem with terrorism, but I don't know. That race is so neutered that it's such a disservice to what it used to be.
Frankly, one reason and one reason only, and that reason is monies.
Yeah, oh for
More
sure.
monies.
All the
I mean,
monies.
it's not cheap to organize such a race, and once you've gotten a terrorist threat, maybe even bigger than it was before, in the sub-Saharan Africa, then there is really no incentive to invest there again. I mean, from a business standpoint, from a logical standpoint, it is the place to be, as far as Dakar is concerned, I think. But from a business standpoint, it sucks. It is what it is.
But I didn't go to the part. You mean South America or you mean North Africa?
I mean the terrorist threat in North Africa, sub-Saharan.
Yes, that's why they moved it to South Africa in the first place. South Africa, South America.
I mean, they didn't have any issues over there, so
Yeah, I mean,
it's definitely doable.
You could argue that this is because because the African Eco Rally has much less prestige and is much less known than
Budget.
Dakar, but
Yeah.
African equally does fine North Africa.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't
Yeah,
hear
if they
anything.
can do it, why not Dakar?
Yeah.
yeah, they don't they
But
have
you
something
know,
similar
maybe-
that's running right now that's basically like the Dakar, except it's not. Doesn't have the name.
Well, the Africa Eco Rally, but it's kind of similar, but not, but kind of, but yeah, but no, but
It's
not really.
it's not a rally
And
raid.
also much less known and less. What's the good word for it? Prestige?
Yeah, prestige. Yeah.
Less prestigious than Dakar.
Right. That's that's what I mean. I mean, it doesn't have the name, it doesn't have the staying power. Well, hold on. Is it a rally raid or is it kind of like more of a rally stage kind of thing? Because
That's a good question,
that
actually.
that would be the difference. Because I mean, the Dakar is probably the most prolific rally raid that's ever been hosted anywhere. I mean, you're essentially just bringing the entire, like, all of the administration along with you, along with all the, just to keep everybody alive. It's just basically like a scouting party essentially for 3 weeks.
And I do think Africa Eco race, apparently not rally. It is like a
And
rally stage, I think.
I think it's like basically similar like Dakar. aka also like in the rally raid,
Okay.
from what I can see.
Yeah, then that's a bummer because yeah, it just doesn't have the name, so just get the like that's what I think. If other stuff dies, or if there's a question of what lasts the longest, I feel like Rally Raid, where you can limit the amount of tech that you can at least do in terms of navigation, like there's a more human element to doing that at this point in racing than anything else. I think that's on the calendar. I mean, fine, endurance racing will get you there after 24 hours, but the amount that the driver has to do himself to basically win the race or win the event is so much more intense with the Dakar than anything else right now that I can remember. So, well, at least what the traditional sense of the Dakar was. I mean, I guess you still have that now, but it's definitely, I wish they went more distances. Like, I remember the 500-kilometer stages where they would go in between countries. They would travel between fucking countries for their stages, and that was the nutty part. That's why I love when it was in Africa, North Africa. That's why I love that aspect of Dakar. So
And now that's what?
Whereas
80
there's
to
still
100.
traveled countries in South America, but
no, it's now only
not-
one.
not-
Colombia.
Well, I mean, in the beginning, yes, we had that. In the
Yeah.
beginning, they had at least Argentina, Chile, and then they had also Bolivia, and then they also had Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have to admit, this year's Dakar was just one country. But in the other Dakars in South America, you still had at least two.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And the next year is also one country, Saudi Arabia. But I hope that in the next years there's at least more countries.
Yeah, that's my hope too. Is that kind of this restarts, and I don't know. To me, I love the, if it's still connected to Africa. You know, it's still desert. It's still there, but it's not the same thing for me yet. So hopefully we can start adding some countries, and you know, it starts kind of reminiscing what the Dakar used to be. But I mean, realistically, the Dakar is just, I mean, it is kind of just a name in general now. It has nothing really to do with Dakar itself, and you know, so it doesn't need to be tied to anything. Although I wish we could tie it to something. I wish we could still be running along the ocean front at Dakar as the final stage, because that's some iconic shots in racing. So, free water.
So I do agree. But
I don't know if
currently,
that'll happen.
I just had a thought that maybe Dakar would like to come back to Dakar, but can't because of the Eco Race. Because Dakar come back to the North Africa, after Sahara to Dakar, would kill the Africa Eco Race.
Well, actually, I think there was like rumors that Dakar would want to come back to Dakar, but instead they went to Saudi Arabia.
Really, I didn't even hear that might have been an option.
Wait, I'm not sure, but what's the subreddit for? For very Dakar? Is this... Oh, it's just Dakar. Okay.
Dakar.
Yeah.
And I come onto Africa Corey's website, and what do I see? I see rebellion watches everywhere.
Have you ever seen a watch like that in real life?
Yeah.
Hello.
Have you ever noticed somebody wearing a rebellion watch and you're like, oh, it's a rebellion watch?
I've seen a Richard Mille.
Frankly, I think they have caps on production amounts, couple hundreds a year.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Richard Mille. Like he makes like 12 a year or something ridiculous.
Well, there you go. And with that many people on the globe, the odds are you ain't gonna see any rebellion watches in your lifetime.
Yeah, one of our directors wears one. It's just so big. It's just dumb.
Sir, you have a giant rock on your arm. Oh no, that's fine. It's here to tell time.
Doesn't matter
need
if
it.
it's big if it's made of carbon fiber.
Oh god.
Light and nimble.
This is what the world's
Doesn't
come
matter
to.
if it's a fucking cow.
Hey, if the cow's light and nimble.
Oh, slow down. You're from Wisconsin.
Well, it might be if it's called F1.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing up there. I moved back down to Florida, all right? I'm among the face eaters and the crack.
Yeah.
So
Florida man.
got out and gotten away from that shit now. All right. Now I just have to put the flare in. Good. So then all the annoying parts that I almost slap myself in confusion over because it's just so tedious and I can't almost keep my brain to keep focusing on it. At least those are out of the way.
So just the formalities now, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm doing this all wrong. What I really should be doing is I should put the manufacturers first, then the previous year, starting from 2015 or whatever, then after that, and then put at the very last all of the current Flair. But the way that I see it is that I want people to immediately have the ability to grab it. So I'm putting all the new Flair first, which creates a large problem because I need to then insert everything below it, and I can't do that by copy pasting. I need to like manual entry everything because Reddit is still stuck in like 2010. So I have to do like fill form boxes, like entering addresses for every single Flair, which is a bitch.
Talking of doing things manually, the their specific sectors done at Le Mans.
Mm-hmm.
Like just at the entry of a corner to the timing the entry of a corner to the exit and stuff, but that's not in the CSVs. So you've got to manually copy and paste the numbers.
Oh Jesus!
Take me now.
For every lap for 62 cars.
No, but I'm just doing like the best ones, the top 10 or whatever.
That's tough.
Still a lot of fuss.
I'm debating whether just to do it because I've still got a pack.
There is speed to it.
Afternoon into dusk. It's the powerful head.
No.
What?
Long, slow fade of a soft summer afternoon into dusk. It's the powerful headlights drilling into the night. It's the track, 8 miles long, linking 3 towns with 200-mile-an-hour straights. It's riding the Ferris wheel, the drifting smoke of campfires, the mingling of many languages. 250,000 people lining the fences. It's the 24
By
hours
the
of
way,
Le Mans.
inappropriate
Audi versus
comment of the
Peugeot,
day.
both teams powered by silent
Not so
turbo
sure
diesels,
without the
both
stab.
with menacing dorsal
Looks terrible.
fins, both designed for high top speed. Peugeot won 2 years ago, Audi last year.
Audi were
I
pushed
know it's
back
an
down the
okay.
stairs last year by Peugeot.
Yeah, having a dad that has that kind of hair and not wanting to be like them for the whole of your life, since you can remember, it's kind of that for me. Hence why I
Which
showed
is,
my hair.
that's one way to do it. Frankly, I'm not saying I have the same fear, but I do
Oh, it's
take
not
it,
fear, it's
take
just-
the probability into account, and that is why I'm rocking longest hair possible for as long as I can, because I can at this point. Might not be for very long.
Yeah, it's not that it's worrying, it's just fucking own it.
Oh yeah, that as well. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
So I'm trying to get some.
Oh, and thanks for being accommodating with recording time. Coming out.
Just trying to get some filler in here. All right, so 1, 2.
Oh, by the way, while we are on the flares, I was wondering why there are the blanks, those blank spaces after the Legends flares.
Filler for other. Oh, after Legends right now? Do you see like a ton of empty ones?
No, not right now, but I've noticed them in the old layout. 3 at the very end, and I think 2 after the 2018 crop.
Yes. So
Still get the tab bonuses.
yeah, that's just part of the template aspect of it, where it's annoying that I have. That's where I have where I would put things in there. So that's where I would put the Flair like identifier, so that it would look at the spreadsheet and go, okay, you want me to put this image next to this Flair, and then also that's where I would put the text for when you hover over it. So that just means that I've saved that as an entry, but it's blank. There's nothing there. So I would just have to delete it, and then those extra ones would go away. But you could technically select that Flair, and then if I put something in that spot later on and hit save and update, your Flair would then update with whatever Flair I put there. Or if I delete it, it would go away. So it's a placeholder for actual data, but it's really crude and rudimentary. It shouldn't be there because there's no data there, but Reddit just assumes I'm putting something in there, so it just keeps it there. It's really
I see.
stupid. Oh yeah, we're jamming.
Ugh.
hopefully I have internet for the first time ever at Le Mans coming up.
Well,
You never
that's
know.
spotty at best, I'm sure.
Well, it's just my provider just goes for some reason. Nope.
Can't handle that bandwidth.
Well, it just says I'm not connected because it's like the roaming settings or something at their end. Because I can connect to the network's app and like website to make to change my settings, so I know I can connect to the internet fine. But then if I go somewhere else, then it just goes, you have no internet. As if I haven't switched it on. And in Europe, it should be completely open. So.
Right. Well, it just, I mean, at any major sporting event, that shit's gonna just go haywire anyway, so.
Yeah, and hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, Sebring's been getting worse and worse, so. Cause
Well, I can imagine this year is the worst then.
way too many goddamn people. Yeah, this year was just unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen it that full, ever. This year was definitely the most I've ever seen Sebring full. So.
Well, frankly, I'm not saying it will happen, but there may be a small downturn on audience because the people this year were wanting to see the Toyotas. They were wanting to see the hybrids.
Yeah. Well, they'll see him again. It's just
That's what I mean. It won't be the first time. So,
right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I
some
see your
people
point.
might not come back because check that box.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's get rid of 2015 here. So.
Especially with the fact that there are only 2 hybrids and physically 2 cars, not 2 types of cars.
It will really depend on how the fall goes and how the races turn out that way. And if it's a Toyota cakewalk, yeah, I mean there might not be as many people going. It'll be interesting because you're still getting your bang for your buck with IMSA, and I mean the race wasn't that bad anyway for WC. You just can't pay attention to it overall, which is tough, but it's doable. It's just it's a hard ask, and I won't I won't fault anybody for not wanting to sit through that.
I mean, currently, basically every WC race is just to lose. Basically, the only one who can beat Toyota is Toyota themselves.
Right. Yeah, they're in a lose-lose situation
And-
essentially.
And frankly, at Le Mans, I think it's the spirit of the race itself. So here, it's not an issue. At every other track, maybe
also
in
said that about the bumps.
in some ways.
Alright, so we'll put one Audi R18 in there. I think once we move past 2016, then I will put the last Audi in there as well. So we'll put the 2011 one in there. And then I'll throw 2016 in once we because probably next year because I'm removing 2015 from the selectable Flair. That Flair will still be usable, but you just won't be able to select 2015 after this year, and then I'll do the same thing in 2016. Once that's done, then I'll retire that Flair into the Legends category, and then we'll throw Porsche's win in 2015 in there as well then this year. So
Nice. Hello, Zeling.
CBS.
Cares.
Now you know. Thanks, CBS. Now I know. And if I had more time, dude, I'd have another video coming out for Le Mans that is. I've got about halfway done now. I'm trying to find all the intros for Le Mans over the years and try to compile a list of them to see kind of like how they progressed. It's interesting. I got a couple French ones in there. I think I have a German one from 1980 something. But like they're just random snippets of like intros, and they're all different. Like it feels like they all change every year, but I don't know. It's a cool little aspect to it that I never really thought about.
Frankly, this is something I think we are lacking in sports stuff. Basically, because after what happened in the 90s, we've missed on that era where F1 flourished with all the intros, all the small details varying from country to country.
Yeah.
And F1 has got it built up. Some other series maybe possibly, and we just don't. I mean, and the fact that, for example, Eurosport is handling all the European coverage with national TVs here and there doesn't help.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think I would have a choice this year for Le Mans, but I think I'm gonna stay with the app anyway. And to be honest, I find the intro of the app, of the official feed, the best.
I do too, man.
Including the Eurosport.
I really do like the World Endurance Championship intro.
And frankly, I am going to actually miss that intro when LMP1 era holds.
Are they going to retire that intro?
I think yes, because it's not going to be relevant anymore. I mean, I recall somebody on the sub identifying the cars from the intro as 2013 919 test moves, so it's not even relevant now, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. They're just as irrelevant as what future looks like, in my opinion.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
could be
when
kept,
we go,
they could just do a generic whatever. Right now, actually.
Well, I hope to keep the actual song or the little jingle. I like that.
oh yes, yes.
The same kind of color style and.
Well, that's gonna be kept for sure. I mean, when did they update their colors? In 2017? It wasn't that long ago.
Unless they remove the color scheme because the racing series doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it, please.
Oh. Not yet. Not yet.
Insert Michael Scott meme.
I'm a Toyota fan, man. There's nothing you can do to jinx me anymore. I've been through it all. Been through it and all.
Lived it. Molded you.
Matt Griffin is doing Le Mans again in the Clearwater, right?
Yes.
Nice. I hope they don't hold as well.
Clearwater's been around for a while. I feel like they're gonna stick around, and they're AM. So, yeah, Matt Griffin's is in the 61.
Is Clearwater run by AF?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I think they will keep going. It's just with a different team.
Spirit of Race is, as well as there's another team that is technically
MR.
MR, yeah, the
MR
Japanese.
is around.
Matoe Ishikawa.
Now, will they stay with the Singapore flag?
As long as the owner is Singaporean, they will.
Their previous AM was Singapore and Malaysian 50-50. Like dual national. And I thought it was Singapore because of him, but I might be wrong. probably am.
Oh Jesus, that headline, Hypercar survives. Yes, please. It's such a magnificent headline.
Oh, bye Cole, or not Coles. Bye Janetta. Hopefully we'll see you next year. No more Flair for Janetta is available for selection.
Janetta for Legends immediately. Blue boy.
You know, I might. What if for Sky Active Hour I throw up like the Nissan GTR LM Nismo?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we put the
Please.
we put the Snatch tractor up last year, so I feel like we've got to up the ante this year for something. Oh, I don't know what the Flair should be, but it's got to be something stupid.
I know what it should be. Not GTR LM Nismo. The number 11, I think, from
You're
last
not kidding,
year.
but Janetta's
the
gone.
the one with
No, it's still
with
there.
no engine cover.
Still have Janetta's Flair. Okay, this text Flair, but still.
Welcome to
Hold on a second.
Baku for the 6th round of the 2019 Formula 1 Grand Prix.
And it's boring because F2 was chaotic.
Mercedes have dominated the first 5 rounds. Can they dominate this one? Oh hell yes they can. I'm just gonna stop now. It's over. Just cut the music.
That one cookie.
I got the you're on a delay, but I got the F1 theme in the background. So it's like right when they stop the theme and it's like Crofty. It's got that slow pan out of the circuit from the helicopter, and Crofty like does that stupid introduction, and he's like, Crofty here with Martin Brundle in the studio. How you doing, Martin? Oh, it's a cold day for the teams here. The tires are really gonna be tested. Like he doesn't even start with an introduction. He just starts off with a point. Oh, I could use Sky's intro to F1 all day.
I really don't like their coverage. They're completely.
Dude, I debated somebody in F1 in RF1 today about not giving a shit if Mercedes and Ferrari balk if we do really obnoxious regulations that try to limit their advantage or whatever and try to make it more competitive for the rest of the midfield. They're like, well, Mercedes and Ferrari could walk. I'm like, honestly though, if you think about it, just let them. I don't fucking care. There's 4 other manufacturers that can take their place. I don't care. What is F1
Not
gonna
to
Like,
lose
the
now?
thing is,
that you can-
currently in Formula 1, the only manufacturers I could see entering will be the Volkswagen AG, particularly Porsche. But
Yes.
like
That's who I thought too.
but now that since the rules won't change that much, Porsche just said no. They had an engine they supposedly had an engine which could maybe be used for Formula 1, but they decided they didn't because the engines didn't change enough for Porsche.
Okay. So they want a little bit more of an
Simply because-
advantage coming into F1 than it was a lot. Then it was
Probably
really
it was
loud.
probably like, I think it was like removing MGUH and simply making the thing less complex and cheaper, so that it will be easier for a manufacturer like Porsche to enter Formula 1. But then the current manufacturers, especially Ferrari and Mercedes, said no. And then they lobbied against, and now we have this when basically nothing changes.
Is regs, you think also that it's based around what they have exactly done? or closest to what they have exactly done. So then they either have less spend to change, or so they have a performance advantage with experience and lessons learned.
What
So
do you
it
mean?
might be that it might not be down to necessarily to cost kind of thing. For example, take car, hypercar.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, I mean,
If-
of
if-
course,
if the race
Porsche
aligns
still.
with what you already have, then you are willing to push for change or lobby for change for something that you already have, then that's in your interest.
Yes. Anyway, now that Porsche said no, okay, no, I don't really think that we will get another manufacturer that soon. In the current
Frankly, here come I, the proponent of getting manufacturers out of F1 and getting back to the 50s. Get the manufacturers into sports cars where they should be, and get the private teams into single seaters where they should be. Because single seaters should be simple, should be light, should be nimble, and should concentrate not on the technical side but on the drivers, because they are cars built around the driver. Get the technology into sports cars, get the manufacturers into sports cars, and
Well, that's
everybody's happy.
undermining the history of Formula One then, in terms of striving for technologically advanced.
I mean, they're kind of equal. It's unfortunate that it's kind of just turned into that, because it's both of them in the 50s did the same thing. It was just two different ways of going about it. One was just endurance cars that reminded you more of sports cars, where you would convert more or less a show model into a car that could race. I mean, granted, obviously Mercedes was doing this in the 50s where they're making purpose-built endurance sports cars, but the similarities between the two were pretty damn close. I mean, in 1955, Mercedes really had the same car. They just kind of had different stuff built on the seat on the 330. So
Agreed, but what I mean that right now, that even in single seaters there is a bias towards manufacturers when there should be a bias towards private teams that
Well,
don't have as
definitely in
much
Formula
money,
1 there's a
but
bias
they are
against-
willing to spend.
Definitely,
frankly,
that's
what I
definitely
would-
the case in Formula 1.
Exactly. So what I propose is that if you are a car manufacturer like Ferrari, like Mercedes, go ahead. But if you want to spend, you should be forced out of the room from F1 and
Into Le Mans.
shown World Endurance Championship
Yeah,
into
but it's the
sports
pinnacle of
cars,
engineering.
because
I'm
this
not-
is with the
I know, but it's still the pinnacle of motorsport.
Like-
So
Like, the Formula 1 in its current state could survive Ferrari leaving. Or it could also survive Mercedes leaving, but both leaving, I don't think it would survive that. That's in my
it would.
opinion.
It
Why
would.
would
It's a
it
massive
survive?
marketing. It's a massive marketing tool. Let's say it's gonna.
Yeah, of course,
it would
Formula 1 is a
survive
massive
without Ferrari.
marketing tool, but just imagine like if Mercedes and Ferrari completely pull the plug and also don't deliver engines, what are the priorities supposed to go? Because there will be only basically Renault and Honda left as the options, and that means that
And,
Renault and Honda will have to identify the options in Formula 1 and potentially like
The
Formula 1
engines
is
would still be made by Mercedes. Yeah, they might be made
Frankly,
under a different name, but the company would probably still be going.
not
if
to
that's the case,
mention
then you
the
will
fact
still see
that
like Williams rating that.
not to mention that with Mercedes and Ferrari leaving, it would open a window for Porsche to step in as the third engine manufacturer. So we would have no big spenders. I mean, less big spenders, because the two biggest spenders would leave. And we would have still three interested manufacturers of the engines.
yeah.
Win-win. Not to mention the fact that Ferrari will not leave F1 no matter what they say. Never, ever.
Right.
Again.
Somebody call their bluff. Somebody do it. Like, I would love to see Ferrari take a sabbatical for a year, go do
Yes.
something else, because they will not just leave F1 and be done. There's no way that company
Frankly-
does that.
Exactly, and frankly, if they still had an actual factory as a Scuderia sports car program going, I could see them leaving, but they don't. They didn't have it since 1973, when Fiat forced a closure of the sports car program on Enzo Ferrari. This will not happen.
Yeah, I would really call the bluff on Ferrari. Like, if I want to be Liberty, I would like go on and cut the basically the priority funding that Ferrari get from Liberty, cut the historical bonus, cut the Ferrari veto on the rules, and say to Ferrari, okay, if you don't want that you lose your veto, go on, then just go. Because no one forces you to stay in Formula 1.
Yeah.
But I would really just call the bluff because Ferrari, because no, reverse. Formula 1 is more important for Ferrari than Ferrari is for Formula 1.
That I would agree with. And frankly, if Montezemolo was still involved in Ferrari, I think he could actually do it. I think he could actually pull it off. But without him, nah, not happening.
It's just it's weird, the stalemate that F1's in, that they can't seem to break out of it, and it's just kind of like, how much longer do you want to sit in that stalemate before you go, okay, enough's enough, I want to do something else. But then as soon as you say that, maybe it changes and everything kind of fixes itself. And I just feel like we're gonna get to a cliff where it's like, you can't. I mean, I guess we're not going to, because the regs are coming out in 2021, 22 or whatever, and it seems like everybody's gonna stick
21.
around till then. But it's like, man, I can't. How do you sell that? Where, you know, like, I feel like three OEM boardrooms are just morons right now, because they don't understand racing. They don't understand that, like, there's no way you are going to win a Formula One manufacturers championship until at least 2022. Like, no way, you're not. If you're Ferrari, maybe. And by then, who gives a shit? Because you're Ferrari, you're staying in F1. Everyone else, who's buying that you're even going to do anything in the next 3 years?
And frankly, I don't know if you realize you just described an abusive relationship. So,
man, I'm just saying, dude.
So there you go.
You got so many good, like, privateer teams, essentially, right? You got McLaren, you got Sauber, who has Alfa Romeo now. You know, like, you've got Red Bull. You have all of these teams that basically could carry the mantle of F1 without Ferrari or Mercedes by themselves, just based on the passion that all these teams have. And they can write their own history if they want to.
And they are
But we
legends
insist
themselves.
on keeping regs for 5 years, in which benefits basically two major, huge OEM manufacturers, in which no good racing has come for the last 3 years. Like, come on, can I start calling
But to be
spade
honest,
spade? You know?
well, technically, Red Bull could still win, like, go for race victories. Like, Red Bull is the only privateer, quote unquote, that can keep up.
Oh boy, you cut out. I wouldn't consider McLaren a privateer anymore. I mean, they can't make their own engines, but they're not a privateer. I wouldn't consider them privateer.
Frankly, the prospect of Ferrari and Mercedes leaving F1 would, I think, create a very interesting situation if, as Rex says, Red Bull stays as the only team on the very top with the vacuum between them and the rest of the field. But it would be very interesting if Aston Martin enters car and hires Red Bull Racing as their service provider, because that would create an alternative world championship for Red Bull to compete in, and actually have a shot at a different kind of glory.
Well, I think
So
this
that
is
would be interesting to see what they would do.
I think that's also somewhat to do with the budget cap that comes to F1 2021, in which like the big three, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull, have to massively save costs in order to fit into the budget cap. And now the teams have to either release some workers or send them to other projects, and I feel like the Red Bull Aston Martin car project might be one of those projects, which not primarily, but also is used by Red Bull to send some stuff in which from the Formula One team wouldn't have room anymore.
Well, and you got F1 drivers. I cannot imagine a scenario in which we're not going to have one of the Red Bull drivers driving one of those cars. I can't see it. I feel like it's Max, Pierre, somebody. Maybe the Toro Rosso drivers. Those might be the lead drivers for the cars.
Junior drivers.
Yeah, I mean they've got enough program. Yeah, well now they had to poach Hartley from Toyota now. But
imagine Fiat, Tictum, and Award winning Le Mans.
Dude, honestly, I support full chaos. Full chaos. I want Mr. Torpedo to win everything. I just support
Torpedo,
every
Mr. Crashes what's that word again? Deliberately into a car you crashed into, and Award.
Intentionally. Yep. Holy shit. They raised a lot of money already for her.
Yeah, 45k or so. 50k already. What the fuck?
50k already. Holy
1 hour
shit.
ago it just gained 5k in like 1 hour.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I
Yes.
think I've checked at maybe 3 hours ago, 4 hours, and it was at.
I mean, look at the
$10,000,
donations.
I think.
$30
I mean,
4
I
minutes
saw
ago.
Daria Franchitti.
No, dude. Okay, like
names
look at
Will
this.
Power donating 1,000.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, look at the donations, like
And frankly,
$100 11
that's
minutes
a-
ago, $100 16 minutes ago, $100 20 minutes ago, 24 minutes ago, again 24 minutes ago, 250 30 minutes ago, go $500 and a half an hour ago, $1,000 40 minutes ago. It just stacks up.
I think it's just great. It definitely
IMSA
shows
donated
how
1,000.
much, Marshall. Oh, nice.
Road to
It
Indy
only
donated
shows how
100.
much everybody loves Marshall Pruett.
Yeah, we'll
Eva,
It's
we'll
nice.
donate.
Either someone called himself Road to Indy, or Road to Indy actually donated $100.
Oh well, Road to Indy is the program. It's like the feeder program for the IndyCar
Yeah.
series. We could do 25. Do
Oh, now I see the donation.
I'm doing it from the sub.
Samoa Raceway also donated 1k.
Nice. Thanks, Cookie.
Devlin De Francisco 5k.
I mean,
Like Jesus
frankly,
Christ.
At the end
Devlin
of the
De
day,
Francisco's like 19 years old, and he already donated 5k on Marshall Pruett's wife.
I mean, he's a racing driver,
Yeah.
successful racing driver. But frankly, at the end of the day, hashtag, it means that people are donating. Tag, yeah, the amount is less important, I think.
Alright, let me get my beer right back. I'm gonna grab the card.
Harding Steinbrenner donated $2,000.
Who did?
Harding Steinbrenner. The team of
The
Colton
Colton
Herta.
Herta team.
Alright, that's gonna be it for me, I think, for the stream. I'm gonna kill it.